and other states.
I got the point.
When can we? This is not a giveaway. This is something we've done bipartisanly. Is there something we can do to
let me take the floor back?
Children's health insurance program.
Nobody believes more in the CHIP program than I. I invented it. I was the one who wrote it. Kennedy came over and became the one who helped put it through.
We recognize that, Mr. Chairman.
Of course I do. I don't think I do everything on my own here. I've got to have good Democrat friends to do it. I don't think you do either. But let me tell you something. We're going to do CHIP. There's no question about it in my mind. And it's got to be done the right way. But the reason CHIP's having trouble is because we don't have any money anymore. And to just add more and more spending and more spending, and you can look at the rest of the bill for the more and more spending. I happen to think CHIP has done a terrific job for people who really needed the help. Now, I've taken the position around here for my whole Senate service. I believe in helping those who cannot help themselves, but would if they could. I have a rough time wanting to spend billions and billions and trillions of dollars to help people who won't help themselves, won't lift a finger, and expect the federal government to do everything.
Senator Yield again.
Unfortunately, the liberal philosophy has created millions of people that way who believe everything they are or ever hope to be depend upon the federal government rather than the opportunities that this great country grants them. And I've got to say, I think it's pretty hard to argue against these comments. Because if you look it over for decades now, we've been spending more than we have, building more and more federal programs, some of which are lousy, some of which are well-intended, and some of which are actually good, like the CHIP program. We're going to get CHIP through. There's no question about that. I'm going to see that it gets through.
If the chairman will yield one more moment,
I yield for a question.
Okay. I want to make one comment about CHIP, if that's okay. I mean, there are letters that are going to go out. My state, I so respect what you did with Senator Kennedy. I know your work was exemplary on it 20 years ago to start the Children's Health Insurance Program.
At the end.
Well, I know. I get that you were the, and we all so
I wrote the doggone bill.
We so appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. My concern is that, and you know some of these families, when you write a bill like that, you meet a lot of these families that benefit. 209,000 in my state alone. Right. And some of those kids, those parents, are going to get a letter in the mail. If we don't move on CHIP in the next week or so, they're going to get a letter in the mail that said, sorry, your child's health insurance is going to expire. While we're sitting here and dressed pretty well. I know you said you grew up with the poor people, I think is how you said it the other night. But I worry that families, and these are families with jobs. You know that about CHIP. These are families making $8 and $10 and $12 an hour that don't have insurance, and they're going to get letters saying your insurance is canceled. How can we let that happen? How can we let that happen, Mr. Chairman?
I don't intend to let that happen. I think we'll get CHIP taken care of, and hopefully a number of other things too. But we're going to have to resolve some of these big problems around here, it seems to me, even before we do get those problems solved. But,
well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But prey upon the CHIP program as though it's the be-all and end-all of everything here, and every aspect of this debate isn't quite right either. All I can say is I don't know anybody here who is not going to support CHIP when we bring it up. And I am one who wants to make sure we bring it up. And I appreciate my friend's feelings on this matter. Look, I like my friend from Ohio. He's sincere, he's dedicated, he's liberal and well-meaning. But I'd like to see him be a little more concerned about everybody else. Now, let me just finish by saying that I'm happy to be in this body. It's the greatest deliberative body in the world, but we're not living up to our potential. And we're not doing the job. We get into these little snits and fights around here that don't amount to a hill of beans in the final analysis. I'd like to see us all get together and start running this country in a good manner, living within our means, finding ways of increasing our economy so that we can take care of the poor better than we are right now, and doing the things that we all know we should be doing. Well, with that, I'll yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from Oregon.
Just to respond briefly to the chairman. The chairman, I think, said about 8 times that what really ought to be the focus here is working together. I so share that view, and I would just like